Oggi parliamo di the top 10 mistakes you could be making when learning a foreign language. Right after this. Buongiorno a tutti, ciao, come state? My name is Manu Venditti, this is Italy Made Easy, but today we're actually talking about language in general. So the top mistakes that, in my opinion, and I'll tell you why you could be wanting to listen to me, the biggest mistakes you could make when attempting to learn a foreign language, especially if it's your first foreign language. Now, what I'm going to share applies to all languages, but I'm going to use Italian as the example because, of course, that's what we do here. We teach Italian. This is part 1 of this video, and we're going to cover the first 5 mistakes, and then in another video we will cover the second batch of 5 mistakes that you could be making. And of course, to fix the mistakes, just do the opposite of what I'm describing as the mistake, obviously. The first mistake that you could be making is not focusing on the pronunciation of the language you're learning. Sometimes, for some languages, the pronunciation is actually pretty hard, but if you're learning a language like Italian, for example, you will find that pronunciation is actually relatively easy. And either way, why should you focus on pronunciation? People need to understand you when you say the things that you have managed to learn to say. There is no point having perfect grammar, perfect vocabulary, if when you pronounce the words, people just have a hard time understanding and discerning the sounds that you're making. And so make an effort to become really good at reproducing the sounds of the language you're learning. The second biggest mistake is so common it's almost scary, and it's probably due to a lot of marketing that has been done by major corporations to push the idea of immersion. The right type of immersion that you want is by immersing yourself in the language by visiting the country. Of course, that's going to help, but the mistake that many learners of a new language make is they try to learn the grammar of that language in the language that they're learning. It'd be like wanting to learn Italian grammar by doing it by being taught in Italian. This is so counterproductive. There's no ways I can tell you. Now, this point is controversial, but believe me, I've been teaching and learning languages for 20 years. I have thousands of students in my courses. I have taught thousands of students at the university. I know that the easiest and quickest way to pick up the grammar of a language is to do it in your own language. Think about it. Let's pick a language that is very different from yours. For example, I don't know, if you're an English speaker, Italian is fairly similar, but let's say Japanese. It would take you weeks and weeks for you to grab the fact that that's how Japanese structures a sentence. If you only heard me speak to you in Japanese and tell you how it works in Japanese, you would just not understand. It would take you so long to figure it out. Or if somebody told you in your language, you know that thing that you do in English to say something? That's how it works in Japanese. They put that thing first, they put that thing second, and then you're done. And then you can spend all the time that you have watching things in Japanese, watching movies, listening to, I don't know, podcasts, and that is the best usage of your time. So that is one of the biggest mistakes I see when, in students, and then they come to me and they magically understand everything because I'm explaining it in a language that they understand. Big mistake number 3 is waiting until you're very good and confident before you speak the language. Doesn't work. Now, of course, as grown-ups, we like to do things when we're good, but with a language, you need to get confidence, and the only way you get the confidence is by speaking it from the very beginning. So at the beginning, you only know 5 things, you only say those 5 things. Next week, you know 20 things, or words, or whatever, you use those. Then you learn how to speak in the present tense, and then you just say stuff using whatever language you have. Do not wait until you're good, because that will never happen. Now, I'm not trying to be negative. I'm saying it won't happen because we grown-ups tend to give up things when they become too challenging and when there's no evidence that we are getting good. And so if you don't speak a language that you're learning and you wait until you're proficient, that's too far away from now and you will lose motivation. So get little victories, don't wait until you're good, just start speaking now. Big mistake number 4 is comparing yourself to other people or other students. Everybody is different, so if you're in a classroom environment, don't compare yourself to other students. The teacher might do that, but you don't have to. So it's your journey, and most of all, remember that every person is different. we speak our native languages with different levels of confidence, different levels of fluidity and flow. And so it's going to be the same in a foreign language. So yes, that person, they picked it up in 6 months, but they're probably the most confident, outgoing person in the world, and they don't care about making mistakes. You, on the other hand, may be a little bit more shy. You may be a little bit of a perfectionist, not good for a language, but we are like that. And so don't compare yourself. It's your journey. Do the best you can and track progress within yourself. So this month I was able to do this, and then 3 months later, now I was able to do this, and then you can compare your own progress. Big mistake number 5, that's also a big one, and is setting unrealistic goals. It doesn't serve you as a grown-up trying to approach something as difficult as learning a language to set a goal like, I want to be fluent. First of all, what's the definition of fluency? I mean, most people have the incorrect idea of fluency. They think that fluency is native speaker level. It's not. Even as a native speaker of your language, you make mistakes. There are words that you don't know. There are words that are misusing. There's grammar that you're not getting right. And there are topics in your language that you wouldn't know how to discuss. So that is not a way to measure your success. So of course we want to be fluent, and that's probably going to happen in 2, 3, 5 years time. I don't know, it depends on the language and your commitment, but having such a huge goal will only scare you away. So yes, you set it, then you put it aside, and then you try and have very small achievable goals a month apart. So for the first month of me learning Italian, I want to be able, by the end of the month, to introduce myself and ask, basic questions to a person. You can totally do that. Then after a month, you get on a call with an Italian, you catch up with a friend, and then you see that you can do it. Perfect. Then for next month, I want to be able to describe my day. And then you work hard, and then you get there and you try, that was really hard. Well, okay, let's reset. Maybe that was a very ambitious goal, so maybe just dial it down a little bit. I hope this video gave you an idea of how you can speed up the process of learning your foreign language. If it's Italian, then I'm here for you. If it's another language, then you will find somebody to help you. But let me ask you a question, and I would love to read your answer in the comments below. Out of these 5 big mistakes, which one you can admit that you were doing? Okay, what is the big mistake that you have been making, and that hopefully you will try to amend? And I guarantee that you fix these 5, you will learn your language a lot faster. Now, in the next video coming up, you will find another 5 big mistakes, and they will help you just as much. I was gonna say more, but who knows? Okay, I don't know what's going to help you, and that's why I like to give you a variety of options anyway. Grazie mille, and if you're into learning Italian, then do subscribe, because that's what I do, and I publish videos in Italian, or like this in English, to help you learn, improve, master the language. Ciao 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 ciao, un bacione, ciao!